I didn't even know there was a 5 on the clock. Hello, welcome to Michigan Golf Live Television. I'm Bill Hobson, and we're starting a little earlier than normal today because we have a different kind of a program. Today, we aren't featuring a course. We are featuring the heroes who help make your day at the course more enjoyable. Stick around. Michigan Golf Live starts right after my snooze runs out. See you in a couple minutes.
Welcome to Michigan Golf Live Television, shining the spotlight on the greatest places to stay, play, and enjoy the greatest game on earth. Stay connected to MGL 24/7 on Facebook, Twitter, and free podcast of MGL Radio, heard live across Michigan every Saturday morning. MGL TV starts now.
This is such a beautiful game. The chance to get outside and enjoy golf at your favorite course, whether it's public or private, really is a special experience. Today on Michigan Golf Live Television, we're going to do things a bit differently. Rather than showcase a course or a group of courses, we want to get you to put your thinking caps on a little bit and realize the partnership that you as a golfer have with those that work so hard to prepare the course you enjoy. Our featured guests today are members of the Michigan Golf Course Superintendents Association. These are the folks who do work before sunrise, during the day, and long after you've left the course to make sure it's a special experience every time you visit.
We have about 800 members, and roughly half of those are golf course superintendents. The rest of the membership is made up of assistants, equipment technicians, other industry affiliate members, vendors, that sort of thing. The one thing you'll find at every golf course you go to, especially the special ones, is that there's a dedicated, passionate person there in the golf course superintendent that cares more about that golf course than anybody else in the world.
I've long considered the superintendents to be the unsung heroes of a great golf experience. They really do fantastic work all around the state, all around the country.
You're right. It's an unfortunate part of the job that most of the time you get complaints. It's pretty rare that you have somebody come up to you and say, great job. So one thing I'd love to have your viewers do when they get back to their golf course, to seek out their golf course superintendent, even somebody on the crew, let them know they're doing a great job, because most of the time it's, this isn't right, or that isn't right, or can you do this better?
Part of this program is educational in nature. I want my viewers to learn some things about how the partnership between a golfer and the course maintenance staff actually works together. This is not an adversarial relationship, but golfers have a role in this too.
They do. I mean, the power in numbers. You know, if you have a membership that's not repairing their ball marks, not fixing divots, there's nothing that a golf course superintendent or their crew can do to kind of make up for that damage to the golf course. You got to make sure that you're taking care of your golf course. You know, a good friend of mine related it to kind of a Ducks Unlimited, and if you're a hunter that you want to take care of the land that you play your sport on, it's the same thing with the golf course. You know, we need your help to make sure the golf courses are in great shape.
What would you say, as the executive director of this association, is the number one thing that we need golfers to learn? At the end of this program, they can pass the test on one key question. What do we want them to pick up on?
I guess I would like them to know that the golf course superintendent is somebody that they should have a better relationship with, somebody that they should talk to, somebody they should learn from. There's not just one thing. Every golf course is different, every green is different, every fairway is different. So rather than me say, here's what you should do at your golf course, I'd like you to go to your golf course superintendent and ask them that question.
We have gathered a lot of superintendents from around the state in one place for our program. And here's our host, Jeff Holmes from Egypt Valley. Thank you for having us.
Oh, welcome aboard.
And thank you for all the work that your team does on behalf of golfers everywhere. It's not by accident, right? You don't just say, hey guys, go and mow.
No, we come in with a plan, and it starts in the summer plan starts in the winter months, believe it or not. The strategy, building the team and such. And I always say you need 3 things. Well, obviously we need the property. That's a given that we're going to take care of, but then we need people, money for the budget, and equipment. And if you don't have any, if one of those 3 elements are missing, you don't complete the triangle, so we can't get the job done.
That strategy that you set out maybe on a daily or a weekly basis, is it always intended to just address maybe distressed areas on the course, or is it different than that approach?
No, we start out with a playability concept, and to get that done, playability of the golf course. So we want it to play as consistent as we can from the spring to the fall. So when you come out here, Your green speed will be similar every day you come here. Your fairways will be a firmness that's within reason. Now, Mother Nature is certainly one of the team members that we can count on and can't count on at different times. So if we get 3 inches of rain, that totally changes our game plan that we had for that day. So the architectural design is certainly one of the elements. The level of expectation is another that's going to dictate the budget. And then the geographic location that you're in is going to be another one. Different diseases, different rain, no rain, those kind of things, what you're going to have there. So each facility, there's never 2 of them that are the same. So to say you can spend $1 million on 18 holes or 500,000, 200,000, every setting is a little bit different, and the expectations, dictate what that budget's going to be.
But it does all play a role in shaping the cost of a round of golf.
Absolutely.
And we need people to realize that it's not just an arbitrary figure that the dart happened to hit on the board.
That is very correct. And the biggest part of the budget is actually payroll, labor.
You mean everybody's not just volunteering their time?
We'd like that, but yeah, it's and that's the biggest part of the job really too, is orchestrating the employees and getting quality people. And in this day and age right now, it's hard to find laborers. It's been a challenge.
This is an opportunity to help educate people as to the role that superintendents play in making this game so fun and amazing. So let's start off with this. What do you wish everybody knew about the role that superintendents play?
Well, it's kind of one of those unsung heroes. A lot of times our main focus as a golf course superintendent is to get the course in playable shape and be the least disruptive to the golfer as possible. So a lot of times the golfer will come out, they won't even see a piece of equipment or an employee on site because they've done all their magic in the nighttime. They've been here, they've been doing things before the first tee time even goes off. So a lot of this is smoke and mirrors. It gets done. People maybe never really put a 1 or 2 together to see actually how the product gets finished.
And your alarm clock is set kind of early.
It's pretty early, absolutely.
Golf before dark is kind of the theme. It's time to tackle the questions that you sent in. A few weeks before we produced this program via social media, we asked, what would you like to know from golf course superintendents? I can't think of anybody better to answer these questions than the man himself, Jeff Sweet from beautiful Bucks Run Golf Club in Mount Pleasant. So here is question 1. Can you please teach people how to fix their ball marks and properly rake a bunker? We seem to have some trouble with that.
Yes, we have trouble with that. Either they don't repair them or repair them improperly, which is just as detrimental to the green.
What are we doing wrong?
Most of the time we're lifting, and we should be mending in. A lot of times we bring it and we lift up, and all that does is tear the roots away from the plant. So now that ball mark is still going to die. If we come in and squeeze all the way around it, tap it with our putter, and we're good to go.
Here's part 2 of that question. You come up to a bunker and your ball is sitting in somebody's footprint because they did not even attempt to rake after having to play out of the sand. Jeff, let's get this thing in the right shape. What am I supposed to be doing? I'll throw this ball out of here because there's no way I'm hitting it. What's our trick?
You just want to smooth it. You want to leave it good for the next golfer. How would you like to see it the next time you're in the bunker? So you just want to smooth out your tracks. Usually rake away from the edge. And you don't want to walk up a high side of a bunker because that usually damages either the steep bank or the steep sand bank. And then as you exit the bunker, set your rake down, take your club and just tap your shoes so you don't walk the sand onto the green.
There's a great deal of education needed for all aspects of being a golf course superintendent. John Fulling will know perfectly well. He has served as president or a board member of more organizations than we even have time to list, currently at the Kalamazoo Country Club. And John, I want to open our discussion by talking a bit about education, about what it takes to become a really good golf course superintendent. Where does it start?
Well, it starts usually when many students are going to college or high school. They work on the golf course and they fall in love with it, and they don't realize at that point that this is a highly educated field. Most golf course superintendents have college degrees. Once you have that passion and that love for the golf course and the property, the environment and the game, there's no turning back.
You're probably aware that golf is often slapped with a negative label when it comes to the impact on the environment. However, the facts tell a very different story. Golf courses are professionally managed landscapes with more than 90% of the average 18-hole course contributing to valuable green space in any watershed or community. Of the 150 acres for the average course, 90% is valuable green space. And according to the definitive study on the matter, golf courses use 21.8% less water than they did in 2006, and course irrigation accounts for only 1.4% of all water used for irrigation in the country. There's even an environmental certification program for Michigan golf courses and any managed turf areas. The Michigan Turfgrass Environmental Stewardship Program has been in service since the mid-90s, and more information can be found at mtesp.org. Put simply, no one cares more about golf's environmental impact than your Michigan golf course superintendent. I can't tell you how many times I have seen this piece of equipment moving sideways and wondered what it was. There's so many cool toys in the world of the golf course superintendent. If I'm operating this correctly, I will not run over Justin Bickle from West Branch, the man who cares for the dream, the nightmare, the West Branch Country Club. What exactly am I riding here?
You're currently riding on a speed roller.
And what's this doing for our game?
For your game, it directly affects the putting surface. We use this to roll the greens. It's going to create a smoother putt. It's going to also increase the green speed. From a scientific perspective, the professors, namely Dr. Tom Nicolai at MSU, has done research that says that rolling greens at least 3 times a week will increase your soil moisture retention capabilities and help with disease resistance or disease control.
Let's focus our attention on the greens for a couple of minutes. Golfers pay a lot of attention to what happens on those surfaces. We want them fast, we want them true, but we don't want them too fast because we would never finish our rounds. So how do you walk that balance?
I think you use the perfect word, balance. I think everything requires balance. We don't want to be too fast. You go too fast, maybe also you're going to create problems with your round. You're going to minimize where you can put the pin on the green, which isolates spots on the green you can use because of that faster speed. And at the end of the day, you need healthy turf. And when you push the limit too far, some bad things can happen sometimes.
I would love to stick around and talk with you for a while, but I've been asked to do some work out here, so I'm going to go this way. I know what I'm doing. What 5 things do you wish every golfer, not just here, but everywhere, knew about the treatment, the preparation, the care, the value, the importance of what you do?
Well, I would start it right by warming up. When the golfer hits the property to warm up and use the driving range, when they don't use one consolidated area, we call it chicken pecking, when there's one here, one there, a divot I'm talking about. Those are hard to dress in and grow back in. When it's one consolidated area, you put the seed in there, the soil, boom, move on. Quick and efficient.
And by the way, that makes the range nicer for all of you when you come back.
Absolutely. And then if we take that divot on the range being done correctly, now if we go out onto the golf course, please replace the divot. When it's a substantial divot, depth and length, put it back in, step on it, so you kind of get it contacted back in again, make contact. And when we irrigate, then that'll regrow. It'll take back off. The thing that gets misled there is when people go to Florida for the winter, playing the Bermuda grass, it kind of blows apart, but that has a lot of stolons and rhizomes that it'll fill back in, but the grasses we have in the cool season areas are different.
Let me ask one on behalf of our viewers. A lot of courses will give you some sand fill on the cart. Would you rather have the pelt replaced or the sand fill?
I would rather have the pelt replaced. We tried the sand here, and what we did, we put seed in with it. So our fairways are bent grass. Well, then you have people doing a good job and dressing their divot in the rough. Now we're planting the wrong grass out in the rough. But the other thing that we found was nobody replaced the divots, then the fairway was littered with divots. Now we had to go out and blow the divots, which we do that occasionally anyways. But when you have a nice sized divot, it's much better back in the void area than it is laying up top. That's an opportunity as well.
All right, what else you got?
Picking on the people that drive golf carts. They always pull up too close to the greens. They pull up on the slope of the tee box. When the the cart path is there, leave all 4 tires on the cart path.
Are you sure not just 2 of them?
Yeah, that's what everybody does. And I've asked some people, we play in a golf league, and I asked some guys one day, I said, I'm not trying to be mean. I just have a question. Why do you always pull off? And he said, you know what? The only thing I can relate it to is driving a car. And when you don't stay in the middle of the road, you pull off to the shoulder. So I said, well, it makes sense to me, but at the golf course, leave it on the cart path. And the thing is, if 1 or 2, it's not a big deal. After, 20,000 rounds for the season, and they've all driven up on the tee bank, well, there goes the grass.
Golf course superintendents are the unsung heroes of our great game.
Thanks to the game's efforts,
we now have turf that needs less water
and is more sustainable
and offers natural wildlife habitats on our courses.
If you love golf like I do,
like what I do,
thank a golf course superintendent.
Thank a golf course superintendent.
Do thank your golf course superintendent.
Thank a golf course superintendent.
A message from the Golf Course Superintendents Association of America.
It's time to tackle the second question that you sent in to us via social media, and here it is. How do you address green speeds and green conditions to make sure they're consistent and fair? Jeff Sweet from Bucks Run in Mount Pleasant, a home of some of the best public course greens that I'll play anywhere in the state. How do you tackle that loaded question?
It's a tough one, and it takes a lot of work and it takes a lot of resource to have consistent greens. We'll use a tool like this. It could be used, one thing is a good pry bar, but its main use is a stimp meter.
Now, we've heard a lot about the stimp meter over the years when watching golf on television. Was there a guy named Stimp?
Edward Stimpson, yes, Mr. Ed Stimpson.
And his original thought was to develop a measuring system not for speed necessarily. What was it for?
Consistency. So this is what superintendents use the stimp meter for, is consistency. So we want to make sure that your first green of the day is rolling the same as your 18th green of the day. You don't want to go through peaks and valleys throughout your round. We want to have consistency through the golf course, and we achieve that by measuring the distance of ball roll with, not speed, the distance of ball roll with a stimp meter.
But it came to be somewhat slightly reinterpreted, right?
Yes, it did.
As to measure speed.
Yes.
Now you're talking. We get to play with some big boy toys here as we continue our conversation with the Michigan Golf Course Superintendents Association. These are big boy toys, but these are for real. You want great course conditions. It takes big time equipment to do that. Rob Stager from the Saginaw Country Club. Tell us about this equipment that we're on. This looks like it could do my yard in about 8 seconds.
That's right. You're looking at over $100,000 worth of equipment just in these 2 pieces. And having good equipment, reliable equipment is really critical to producing great golf course conditions.
We want fairways that are rolling and true. We want those greens to be lightning fast and fair. It doesn't all get that way just by desire. You've got to have the implements to do it.
You've got to have the tools to do the job.
We often think of golf in terms of different quality of courses, but it doesn't matter if you play at a very public casual course or an exclusive private club. Equipment is everywhere. You have to have it, and if it's used properly, can really enhance the experience of the golfer, can't it?
Absolutely. And having good equipment leads to efficiency. Ultimately, at the end of the day, efficiency is what makes the golf course look great. If you're spending a lot of time repairing equipment that's breaking down constantly, that hurts how much other things you can get done in a day, for sure.
Where did your passion for having your hands in the dirt, so to speak, come from?
I didn't think I wanted to be a superintendent. Working on a golf course, and I kind of was bit by the bug. And my dad had a conversation with me and explained to me, son, you need to do something that you love. I thought I wanted to be an engineer. He said, he could just see how happy I was working summers on a golf course. So changed majors, and the rest is history.
I was going to end our conversation by firing this up and driving away, but I'm fairly certain that if I did that, I would back directly into the pond, and we don't want that on camera. It's time to tackle another one of the questions that you sent in to us, and for this one, I have brought together 2 Jeffs for the price of one. Jeff Sweet from Bucks Run, Jeff Holmes from Egypt Valley. Here is question number 3. How does everything that I've learned today impact the cost of my next round of golf? Mr. Sweet.
Everything, it's a hard question to answer because so many courses are different in how we do things, but it's gauged on the golfer's expectations. So if a golfer wants super fast greens on a daily basis, that costs more. If they want perfect bunkers, we have to supply more labor to achieve that goal, that costs more. So that pursuit of perfection makes golf increasingly more expensive.
The other thing to add to that is consistency. When we try to maintain the golf course consistently, so when you come out in April, it's the same as in September. Now that isn't totally fair. You can't do that. Mother Nature, the weather's different. But that is the goal when we start out. And Jeff's at a high-end public facility. We're at a country club. The one thing different there is we see the same members every day, where Jeff has people come in and out. So we need to be consistent every day, but Jeff at the same time needs to be consistent, because when you played there a month ago and now you come back and treat yourself again, they want to have the same play. And in that, we call it fast and firm, trying to keep the golf course on the drier side, so you get that extra 30 yards on your drive, and when you're putting the green, it's quick and smooth. And to do that, we're really on a balancing, it's riding the edge of a knife. And you can stay on the good side or you can fall off the bad side as it gets hot. And if you sent your team home that should be touching up a little bit of water, you can come back to some dead grass tomorrow. So when you ride that edge, it costs more money to do that, back to what Jeff said with the labor and bringing people in. If we're going to ride that edge, we've got to have the hands available when it calls. It's within the day.
And I will add one thought to all of that. But if you happen to be teeing it up at a course that's charging you $13 to walk 9 holes, there's a reason for that. And you'll notice a difference in conditions than you will at one that's more expensive. It's kind of like restaurants. You kind of get what you pay for. That's the answer to question 3. You know, this program has been educational, I think not just for the viewers, but for me as well. There's so much more to the role of the superintendent than I even knew. So on behalf of all of the golfers watching us and to your team, thank you. You guys do such good work.
Thanks, Bill. We really appreciate it. And hopefully your viewers can do the same thing to their golf course superintendent and thank them for all the great work they do to keep their golf courses in the shape that they are.
Last thing, there may be somebody watching who says, I've always wanted to have a career in golf. I know it's not going to be as a player. How about the role as a superintendent? Is there opportunity out there?
There is. There's actually a great opportunity right now. Michigan State University has one of the best turf programs in the country. It's one of the best turf research. And the job market is actually improving quite a bit. So now is a great time to get into turf. You can call Michigan State and talk to them about that turfgrass program.
Well, thanks again, man. It's been great to have you here and your entire team. We know, folks, that they do great work. I'd put a big S on their chest if I could, but they don't want that kind of attention. They just want you to enjoy the game. As we wind down the program, it's time to tackle our 4th and final question that you sent in, and here it is. This is a little bit awkward. Does Hobson ever do anything but eat too much food and play golf? Jeff, I don't know what to do with this one.
Actually, Bill, I sent that question in, and on behalf of Michigan Golf Course Superintendents, PGA golf professionals, and general managers all around the state, we just ask you to put down your fork and grab a shovel.
Huh, that's interesting.
Bill, here's a soil probe. Please do some water retention checking.
Not sure what to do with this, but
once you get the practice tee divots filled and level.
All righty. Is this before or after?
Just make sure you use the right hand, huh?
All right, thanks. Don't touch me there. It looks like today's program will not end with me surrounded by crab legs and porterhouse. I've got a little bit of work to do. Thanks for joining us on today's program. Apparently, these guys actually do work. Show your support for your Michigan Golf Course Superintendent and for golf in Michigan with these special edition Nike golf hats. Go to migcsa.org to order yours today.